Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Now, we're a YouTube channel that tries to educate people about the Guru's wisdom. And a lot of people recently have been asking us to explain, why do Sikhs wear turbans?
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru.
This is a pertinent question because actually in the West, majority of the people, I'd say maybe 99% of the people that wear turbans and have beards are Sikh males. And Sikh women also do wear turbans. First of all, I'd just like to say, it's almost an embarrassment to say, but no one should be shot because of their faith and what they look like. And the real reason, the real answer to this question of why we wear it is to stand out. Now, why do we want to stand out? That's the real question. And to answer that, we're going to give 5 perspectives, all work together, they're complementary, that will try to explain why is it that Sikhs want to stand out.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
Is this a sign of their sovereignty as an individual? The turban is actually a crown, and it works as part of a system. When 1699 Guru Gobind Singh Ji set up the Khalsa to wear the turban, at that point the turban came along with a sword and also came with a royal surname like Singh or Kaur, which both are royal in their origin. Now, to give you a bit of context on this, is when 1699 happened, at that time the Mughals were ruling India, and at that time the Hindus were generally downtrodden people, and they were told, you will listen to what we tell you to do. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji at that time was almost like a rebel to this authoritarian rule, and he gave his Sikhs this form as a challenge to the Mughals, that they stand out and they always represent the Sikh principles wherever they go. So the sovereign individual back then can be even seen nowadays, that Sikhs, they are called Sardar. Sardar is a word that's used to mean chief. And the Sikh idea is that wherever you go, you follow the rules of equality, of justice, of sexual equality. And even if the society of that day is a sexist or racist or a society which has slavery, a Sikh will not stand for it. Our rules are those rules given by Vaheguru to our Guru, not those prevalent in society. Now obviously we're lucky that the West is actually coming towards the Sikh principles in terms of morality and acceptance of other people. But in some countries there's still a long way to go. Now, another reason why Sikhs want to stand out is actually because they want to help other people. We've been given a mandate by our Guru to be Akal Purkh Ki Fauj, to be like God's policeman. We have been given a kirpan, a sword, and the idea behind that is that we are here to defend other people's rights. And that example was given by Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the 9th Guru, when he gave his life for the freedom of the Hindus to practice their own faith. So that ideal of defending other people's rights is what the Sikhs have been given. Now, what you see is that in post-Guru period, the Sikhs were fighting against the Mughals and actually rescuing women who were being taken back to Afghanistan to be sold into slavery. And as back as 1947, the Sikhs made a massive contribution to fighting against the British for freedom from British Raj. And you see that after 1947, Sikhs have been brave soldiers in the Indian army, and also there's a very common saying in India that whenever a Sikh would get onto a train or a bus carriage, people would feel safe, because now there is a Sardar on the bus and the train, and he's going to help to defend people's rights. And even if you look at as in the West now, even as far back as 2010, there was a Sikh in East London who was running after some muggers, defending some other woman's honour, and he was actually stabbed and killed. And if you go on the internet and type in Amir Khan 2011, there was a Sikh, another guy called Sukhwinder Singh, who very famously saved an Australian female tourist who was being kidnapped, maybe to be raped or goodness knows what else, and he saved her honour and took her back. And even in 2012, we see just recently in Wisconsin that Satwant Singh Kaleka, the president of the Gurdwara, he is actually putting his life on the line, and he was killed in fighting that shooter. And in that time that he bought in fighting that person, the women and the children were able to hide and save themselves. So the Sikhs have always had this tradition of putting themselves at the front line, and now a Sikh needs this form as a uniform so that other people can say, hey, there's a Sikh, and I can ask him for help. So a policeman is always identified by his uniform, and a Sikh, if they follow the ideals of what Guru is trying to tell them, needs to be identifiable to people. And so Guru Gobind Singh says that he wants his Sikh to be able to be identified from between 100,000 people. You can spot a Sikh, and that's why we have this form. It's to remind ourselves of the commitment that we made to our Guru to walk along their path. Now, one reminder of that is the kara, which is another one of the 5 Ks, that whenever we do something wrong with this kara on, we should stop and think, hold on, this hand belongs to my Guru. It's like a handcuff. And taking that to the turban and the beard, people look at us and they say, you should be acting like a Sikh. When we look ourselves in the mirror, we think, I should be acting like a Sikh of the Guru. And if you look at the reason for this, actually, the background for this comes back to the 9th Guru and how they achieved their martyrdom. Now, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji actually gave his life for the principle that Hindus should be allowed to practice their religion, for religious freedom basically of all people. But when that was happening in Delhi, there was actually 500 Sikhs that had gone into Delhi at the same time. But only 3 of them were prepared at that time to come forward and say they are Sikhs of Guruji as well. The rest of them actually got shy and they backed down. And when Guru Gobind Singh Ji found out that those 497 Sikhs had not come forward, his idea was he will give us such a form that we will not be able to deny our own existence as Guru's Sikhs. Because it is hard. This path that Guruji is giving us is very hard. He doesn't want us to say, oh, it's too hard and give up at the last moment, because actually, from a spiritual angle, Guruji is telling us that the ideals that we have are Sura so pehchaniye jo lade deen ke hit, purja purja kat mare kabu na chhade keet. That this warrior, the true warrior, is somebody who fights on the battlefield but never backs down. He's cut to pieces, but for the sake of other people's protection. And when we look at that, we can see that's a very high ideal, and we feel scared. And in Gurbani it says ki maran kal ka tras nevariye, let me not be scared of that time of death. And to look at this spiritually, we can understand that actually Guruji is telling us that this life will come to an end. It's just a phase in our long existence, and we have a longer life to look forward to. But if we, for the sake of this life, sacrifice the principles that Guruji has told us, then what will we do? We will waste this life and waste the next life. And Guru Amar Das Ji gives us a shabad that explains this in Gurbani very clearly. He says, Jin Gur Gopya Apana Tis Thor Na Thau, Halat Palat Dove Gaye Darge Na Hi Thau. Those people who do not affirm their Guru, who when they asked, who is your Guru, who back down, they will have no place to rest. Why? They will lose both this world and the next world, and they will have no place in the court of that creator of Waheguru. And Maharaj says next, he goes, that this vela, this opportunity will not come again to bow at the feet of Satguru. If they miss out on being counted by Satguru, they will pass their lives in pain and misery. Guru at that time, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, is blessing those 3 Sikhs who with him, who gave their lives. We know the story about them. One of them was chopped by a saw down here, and whilst that was happening, he was saying Japji Sahib. Imagine the bravery that he had. Why did he have that bravery? Because he was facing his Guru and he was following his Guru's orders. This ideal was something that wasn't just the Sikhs did, but the Gurus themselves did. Guru Arjan Dev Ji was the first Shaheed, and he sat and he was being tortured, but he still stuck to those ideals. And we've heard about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and how he gave his life, but also we see the 4 Sahibzade, the sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, they all died for the faith. They never backed down. And we've seen countless examples since then, by Mani Singh, by Taru Singh, Banda Bahadur. And furthermore, even in 1984, and even to now, people who are standing up for their faith, with Paira Joanna, who's prepared to put his life on the line, but not sacrifice his faith. That's why we say things like, Sir Jave Ta Jave, Meri Sikhi Sidak Na Jave. Let my head go, but let my Sikhi not go. That we ask for Guruji, bless us with the strength to live as a Sikh, and to follow through with your commitment. And this gaze that we have, this roop, the turban and the beard, actually helps us to live up to those high ideals. Because we get reminded of that every time we look in the mirror. That's who we are. We're Sikhs of Guruji. It actually helps you spiritually. Now, a Sikh is told that when you are praying or when you're eating, you should cover your head. Now, the ideal for a Sikh is to always be meditating upon Waheguru. So you have to cover your head. And if you look back, even in Moses, when he met the burning bush, he was told, take off your shoes and cover your head. So actually covering your head becomes something that we have to do. And we also understand at a spiritual angle that the top of the head here is the Dasam Dwar, the Godhead effectively, where we're going to experience our Creator. And Sikhs are told, that part should be covered. Just to talk about the hair for a second, there's no biological reason for us to have all this hair on our head, but we do have it. And Gurbani tells us that when we get to the point where we're actually repeating God's name with every breath, that actually every hair, rom, every one of our hairs on our body starts to meditate upon that Creator and vibrate with that frequency of Waheguru. So there's spiritual reasons behind the hair that we don't quite understand, but we keep them. Another way to look at the hair idea is that the turban and the hair work actually to stop us following superficiality, because it's very easy in today's world to focus only on the outside, how we look. The pressure is massive nowadays. But by being a Sikh and following Guru's route, what we do is we reject that superficiality, and therefore we are free to look inside. And really, human life, the value of human life will only be realized when we go inside. The last and the simplest form for understanding why we keep our turban and our beard is just because Guru told us to. And a Sikh has been popularly translated to mean a student, but actually the real translation should be disciple. We have a Guru who is our guide, and we are the disciples. We follow that guide fully. And the Sikh ideal in a relationship towards the Guru is to give ourselves to our Guru. And we can see that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is given that ideal in his Gurbani. He says that if you want to play this game of love, step onto my path with your head in the palm of your hands. Give yourself to me. And if you give yourself to me and you step onto this path, then don't listen to what other people are saying. Just follow me. And we see that Guru Angad Dev Ji, who became the second Guru, he lived up to that ideal and he followed it through to the very end, even to the point where he was asked to eat a dead body. And he said, yes, no problem, Guruji, whatever you say. And for following Guruji properly, he was rewarded with the Guruship and he became Guru Angad. And if you look at Guru Amar Das Ji, he tells us in Gurbani, he says ki Tana Mana Tana Sab Somp Guru Ko, that we should give ourselves fully to our Guru, Hukam Mani Paiye, that we will get Waheguru by giving ourselves to our Guru and following their Hukam, their order, their command. And you see that this philosophy now that Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Guru Amar Das Ji are saying, this is put into practice by Guru Gobind Singh Ji in 1699, when he gets up on top of a stage and he says, give me a head. Who's prepared to give me the head? And those 5 people that came forward, who took that chance and gave themselves to their Guru, they were rewarded as well. They were rewarded with the Guruship, the Guru Khalsa Panth. And now all of us Sikhs who are trying to become Khalsa, we're following those 5 and to become part of the Khalsa collective. Once they'd given their head, they were then told, you need to look like this, you need to wear a sword, have a turban, stand out from the crowd, but also you need to have a spiritual discipline. The idea of having Bani and Bana, that the Sikh is like a bird and he has 2 wings. One wing is that of Gurbani and the spiritual practice, the other wing is that of the outward appearance. We should look a certain way, stand out, and then live this spiritual ideal. And if you take the 5Ks as a whole, nowadays a lot of Sikhs have started following only one, i.e. the Kada, or 1.5, the turban but no beard. But actually the whole thing works together. And this ideal of the Khalsa has come from 1699. It wasn't there before. Ideal for us is, if we're keeping our case, we should be having the Kirpan as well. And Guruji tells us that in Gurbani. Guru Gobind Singh says to us, Ehe mor agya suno hai pyare bina teg ke sang diu na didare. That this is my order. Listen, my beloved Khalsa, this is my order. Without your hair, unshorn hair, and your weapon, your sword, don't even come in front of me. So the Sikh ideal is that we should be distinct. And this comes back to the idea that the Sikh is trying to get Guru to be happy with them. The whole point of a Sikh is to make Guru happy, because Guru has the power to bless us. And it says even in the Mool Mantar, Gur Prasad, with the Guru's grace. And in Japji Sahib it says later on, that even if I had lived for so many years, had so many people following me, all of that would mean nothing if I didn't have your blessings. Je tis nadar na aavi, ta vaat na puchhe. And so it comes back to the idea that a Sikh is just trying to make Guru happy, and therefore Guru says, keep your beard, keep your turban, stand out, follow Sikhi, and we say, yes Guruji, that's fine, I'll do that. A quick warning now, having a turban and a beard does not automatically guarantee you salvation or liberation. Sikhi is very hard and very tough, and Guruji tells us that actually this outward form that we have is supposed to be a manifestation of our internal love for our Guru, our love for Guru, and our spiritual practice of living how he tells us. And in Gurbani is very clear that Dilo Mohabbat Jin Sei Sachya Jin Manhor Mukhor Se Kande Kachya, that the people who have true love inside them, they're the ones that are true, and the ones that don't, they will not be seen as true, they'll be false. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself gives us two very amazing quotes. He says that if by keeping hair we could get salvation or get mukti, then why don't all the animals also get mukti? And he also says, Sach kaho sun leho sabe jin prem kiyo tin hi prab payo. Listen everybody, I speak the truth. Only those who love will get to God. So a Sikh, when they're outside and they have the turban and the beard, they should not be under any illusions that just having that gets them into heaven, or they should be proud of having that. What we have to do actually is to be pao pagat karanit sadai. True love, loving worship, and keep ourselves low. Think of ourselves as nothing, and hope one day our Creator will accept us into His court. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji tells us in Japji Sahib, Kach pakai othe pai. That whether you're kacha or pakka, true or not accepted, you'll only find out when we leave this earth. So up into the very last breath, we have to try and focus upon our Creator, focus upon the inner love, and building that devotion and that spiritual experience of the Naam, build that up, so that when we die with God's name on our lips, and we go to Him. If I've said anything that would have offended you, or said anything that was wrong, and I'm sure I have, then please forgive me. And for those people that are watching this video, please feel free to browse the rest of our YouTube channel for other videos about the spiritual practice of Sikhi. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.